All right, welcome to Lone Pine, California, which is kind of a sleepy mountain town of sorts. And you know, I've been here a couple times camping. Alabama Hills is right next door. Beautiful location. Probably gonna try and do a video on that tomorrow. And I thought I would take tonight to take some photographs in the town. This place has a bunch of like neon lights and stuff, kind of old signage that looks kind of cool. I don't know how well this is gonna go. If I'm honest, it's not really my kind of photography, or at least not something I'm experienced with, so this is gonna be a little bit of an experiment. But I figure, hey, worst case scenario, we fail, we get a video out of it. So shooting today with the Fujifilm X-T4, and I thought I would talk a little bit about this camera because the X-T5 is out now, and you might be thinking maybe it's time to upgrade, maybe you need to upgrade, maybe you want to upgrade. So that's what's on the docket for today. So when you start taking photographs for a session, what I like to do is just start shooting right away. Don't wait or take your time. You kind of got to get the jitters out a little bit. So yeah, for me, the way to begin is just to get started, even if you're not so sure about any particular composition. Let's actually underexpose that a little bit, or rather, yeah, it's clipping a little bit on the signs, but I think that's probably somewhat unavoidable. Also, when you're shooting at night, keep an eye on your ISO, because that can get away from you really fast. So one thing about the X-T4 is that it's got in-body image stabilization, which I really love because I absolutely despise having to get out a tripod for photography. So, all right, starting out today with the 35mm f2, and then we'll see where things go. I've got a 50mm f2 with me as well. So anyway, I was saying, just start shooting, because if you wait for the perfect shot to come along, you kind of won't be warmed up. It's a little bit like socializing or something, you know? Sometimes you get somewhere new, meeting new people or something, and you know, it's like hard to get the conversations going. But after the evening unfolds for a while, it gets easier. I think photography is kind of the same way. Probably gonna be shooting f2 pretty much all night. And the great thing about the X-T4 is, you know, I've shot this thing down to like a 15th, a 5th, I think. 15th, 8th, I guess is the next step of a second. Pretty slow. So it's really nice for this kind of thing. And I find the noise volume, or the noise levels on the images in this camera, up to almost 3200 are really acceptable. Not bad. I like a little grain. So this is kind of cool, but the McDonald's sign's ruining it for me a little bit. Let's see if we can, I don't know, maybe get that out of the shot. I don't have a wide angle with me, so trying not to get hit by a car or anything. There we go. I know the X-T5, let's move back a little bit into the road just temporarily. I know the X-T5 has IBIS 2 and a higher resolution sensor, but the thing is, I really value dynamic range more than resolution. So because I want great color reproduction and I want to preserve my highlights when I'm shooting. So I don't care that much, I don't think, about more resolution in my Fujifilm cameras. I may still get one at some point, but I've been so happy with the X-T4. A lot of people hate this camera because it's kind of a hybrid camera and it's a little bigger than the older designs too, but not me. I've loved this thing. I have my complaints for sure, but really been happy with it. I guess I was talking about resolution. You know, it's just not that useful to have a ton more resolution unless you're cropping your images, and I do crop my images, but I've been really happy with this sensor. It's really done well for me. You know, I like that they have sort of turned the X-T5 back towards like a stills focus camera. I think that's cool. And it makes sense given the controls and the layout. This camera is kind of annoying to use for video, actually. Switching between the two is a pain. It's actually easy for me to shoot video on one body and stills on another body than to try and swap back and forth with this camera. So there's that. So I can see what Fujifilm's doing is, you know, making the X-H2 or the X-H line like these really good hybrid cameras. And I'm kind of glad that they're making the X-T line more of a stills focus, because I mean that is primarily how I use it. So I don't know, I'm for it. All right, this is cool. All right, I can get behind this. Might have to switch to 35mm. Let's see. I do like the compression of 50 though, so. All right, this is a little boring because we're just literally standing right in front of this thing. But you know, a lot of people rag on symmetry, like you don't want symmetry in your photos. Put things in the rule of thirds. I love symmetry in my photos. Big fan. So I like to stick stuff right in the center a lot of times. Let's switch lenses, because I might be able to use this curb as a foreground object, but I can't do that with this lens. All right, switch those. This in here. Back to 35, f2. Let's see if we can get the right angle. I might need a wide angle for that. I got this sign in the way. I might be able to edit that out of the final image, probably. All right, so we're at f2, 1/60th of a second. Let's cut that down to 1/30th. It's probably fine. Let's try and get the sidewalk here. Bottom of the frame. Don't know how much of that we'll actually get. Let's get it a little closer. What we got? ISO 500 f2. Yeah, all right. That's cool. The reason I'm shooting primes, I have my 16 to 80 f4 with me, but I find the primes force me to take kind of more creative and interesting photos. The zoom lens, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm into that. Let's back up a little bit. The zoom lens it's too easy to get an idea for a shot and then to just stand there and change the focal length and take photographs. the primes force you to kind of walk around a little bit more, and I think, I don't know, I think you end up seeing angles and compositions and things that otherwise you don't really see. So, yeah, I'm kind of more and more, I started out like exclusively on prime lenses because they were cheap and I couldn't afford zoom lenses back in the day. But now I think I'm gravitating to them for other reasons. Let's actually underexpose that a little bit so we don't lose all the info in that sign. We'll have to see how this goes. All right. So I actually just picked up the 16mm f2.8, and I'm going to be traveling to Japan in a couple months. I'm just going to take all primes. I'm not even going to take my zoom lens. Big step for me. I've been using zoom lenses a lot lately, so that's cool. I do hear like something ringing. Hope I'm not setting off some alarm outside this building or something. Let's back up a little more. See if we can get some of those lights like in the bottom portion. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so given the fact that I'm not super experienced night photographer, always good to kind of look over your shots, see how things are going before you, like, you know, leave for the evening. We're not done here, got a lot more to go. I'm also testing a lav mic today. On my Tascam recorder instead of the GoPro audio. I'm hoping that's better than the regular GoPro. The GoPro is, when it's good, it's great and it's fine, and then when it's not good, it sounds like garbage. So this will be a good test because there's a lot of traffic coming by here, and if you can hear me well and it doesn't sound bad, then we will continue to use this setup. Well, while we walk to the next sign here, so I may pick up an X-T5 at some point, but I don't know, it would really just be for the resolution. So it's also lighter and smaller, but I have my X-T2 right now. I think probably, unless I just want to review it, or unless my X-T2 breaks, I probably won't get the X-T5 in the near future, because this is kind of my primary video camera, and I shoot stills mostly with the X-T2. X-T4 is better at night because it has IBIS, but at pretty much any other time I'm shooting the X-T2. So I don't know that I'll upgrade. This thing just, they made an incredible camera with the X-T4 in my opinion. So I think in some ways Fuji cameras, like, there are times where I think I don't have any compelling reason to upgrade. You guys made such a great camera 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't need another camera. So sign's kind of boring. I don't know if I want to shoot this one, but I'm here, not coming back. So maybe we can get a leading line. I'm trying to do this so that you can see it. A leading line with the wall here. And then kind of want to, yeah, there we go. That's better. Sorry, I know you're probably twisted all like sideways. 60 shutter speed, ISO 800, f2, 35. millimeter. Maybe get a little more of the background in there. I don't know. See how these look when we get home, huh? Yeah, what is the deal with this thing? Let's try and get lower. I like to get stuff in the foreground of my images kind of all the time. I don't know if you can see this. Let me try and help you see what's going on here. Because I just think it enhances the photographs so much. If there's nothing in the foreground, a lot of times your photos just look kind of flat, I think. So, but it can be hard to do it in a way that's actually interesting. So, don't know if that really works, but it's probably not the best example of or the best demonstration of that concept. Oh, there's me. How's it going? And now we arrive at the sign that I came here for. This motel sign. Mount Whitney. Pretty cool. Let's see what we could do here. I would like to use these globes as like a leading line up to the sign, maybe? Kinda? I don't know if that works. But let's start there. Unfortunately, this sign's not really lighting itself super well, so there's that. Let's try and shoot this really close. Yeah, something like that. All right, so wasn't terrible. Not in love with it. I would like to get this electric support cable in the frame. Yeah, that's cool. So a lot of times just sticking anything that's blurred out in the foreground, whatever it is, especially if it's got like a pop of color or something, will help make the image feel more interesting. What I imagined, like all these kind of like abstract neon light photos, didn't really pan out. But maybe there's something here. All right. I think that's the end of that. I shall leave you to whatever it is you're going to do next. Thank you for watching. Thank you for experiencing the town of Lone Pine with me. Try not to get hit by a car at the end here. If you are a Fujifilm X-T4 owner, enjoy this camera. It is a great piece of equipment. I don't think you need to upgrade unless you just desperately want the next version for whatever reason. This thing holds up great. If you're an X-T2 owner, an X-T3 owner, also amazing cameras, still to this day. And with that, good night.